Hey everyone, Ethan here, back with another video for you guys. And today we're going to be doing my durability review of the LG 29UM68-P monitor. Now, when I get a lot of tech stuff, I generally like to play with it and use it in my normal day-to-day life as how I would use it, and do that for a couple of months. It's anywhere between 3 and 6 months usually, and then after that I will do a durability review of it, basically to tell you guys how it's holding up. I try to do this to as many products as possible so that you can see how they hold up. You know, it's always good, I think, to have an idea of how a lot of tech stuff holds up. Now, I don't wait a couple of years because by that point it's irrelevant, but I feel like, 3 to 6 months later is when a lot of people are waiting for it to get cheaper, whatever it may be. In the tech world, things start to get cheaper, usually 6 months or so into their lifetime. And so it gives you an idea of how they're doing and how they will hold up in your day-to-day life. Anyway, though, this here is actually a monitor that I did an unboxing and a review of. Both are going to be up in the eye over there. But I did an unboxing and review of this. It was actually 2 of my most viewed videos, so that was pretty awesome. So I thank you everybody that watched those and commented on those and all that. That was awesome. But anyway, here I am a few months later, and I figured I'd go ahead and tell you how it's holding up, which it may seem kind of weird doing a monitor durability review, but I wanted to anyway because I'm trying to do it to more products, but also, as I complained about in the review video, the glossy plastic tends to scratch easy, tends to fingerprint easy, and all that kind of stuff. So I kind of want to touch up on that. But there are really 2 aspects to the durability or review of this monitor. So first off, or of any monitor for that matter, you have the panel. How is the panel holding up? Has there been any degradation? Have any pixels died? Is there any more light bleed than there used to be? All those kinds of things. And then there's the physical build. Now I'm going to start with the panel here because that's going to be quickest. So the panel here, nothing's changed. It's really that simple. There's not a lot to say about it. Some monitors, a couple months in, a year in, you might start to get dead pixels. That's usually the cheaper monitors. A lot of the more premium brands like LG, Samsung, etc., they tend to not have dead pixels. And if they are going to have dead pixels, they have them right when you get them from the factory. You send them back, get a new one. They generally don't create them. And same with stuck pixels, which for those of you who don't know, stuck pixels is when a pixel is stuck on a specific color. So it's not actually dead, it's still lighting up, it's just on that color. There are ways to fix that though. So if you do have that problem on any display, even on phones, you want to look for a stuck pixel, or they call it dead pixel fixer, although it won't actually fix dead pixels, but it basically flashes through a whole bunch of colors to try and get the pixel to start working again. Anyway, point is, this, nothing's changed. It's held up great, no dead pixels. The light bleed's exactly the same as when I got it. Not bad, not the best I've seen, but definitely not bad. Although I do feel like more and more I'm feeling like the amount of light bleed that this does have, again, it's really not bad. But for the price, for just a 1080p ultra wide, $300-ish, I feel like there should be pretty much no light bleed, because that's quite a bit for a 1080p panel. Because a 16:9 1080p, a lot of times those are like $150, maybe $200. I don't think adding 40% to the width is really worth another $100 unless you're getting better quality as well. But anyway, panel's great. You will definitely be happy with that. It's a matte panel, so it doesn't show dust too bad. It does show some fingerprint smudges and stuff. Now, you may notice I left this monitor very dirty, and that's also part of this, is to basically tell you, hey, if you don't clean it, or don't clean it very often, like I haven't cleaned this very often, this is what it'll end up like. And I do touch my screen sometimes, not very often, but whatever. I feel like, I can clean it out, and I like to point things out to people. Now, anyway, there are smudges on here. I'll get that in some B-roll, and that's, I guess, a kind of hardware / panel, so I wanted to mention that before I actually moved on to the hardware section of this. So hardware-wise, it's kind of a mixed bag. It's held up physically very well. It is very durable in the sense that it's not going to break. Yeah, it does have some wobble to it. It had that when it was new, though. It's not any more progressed or pronounced wobble than when it was new out of the box. And I actually had a little bit of a mistake here. I was reaching behind the monitor to grab some cables, and I don't remember exactly how, but I managed to fall a little bit onto the monitor and caught myself with the monitor. And I was scared to death because I thought I broke it, and it tilted all the way down like that, and I was like, oh man. And I pulled it back up, totally fine. Not even loose. The actual hinge mechanism isn't even loose. So I am very confident that that section of the monitor, the tilt adjustment as well as the actual physical stand itself, will probably hold up for a really long time, which usually isn't a problem with monitors, but still it's nice to know. So, you know, when it comes to that and when it comes to the ports that I have unplugged and plugged many times, more than a lot of people probably would with their monitors, don't seem to be getting looser over time. So that's also nice to see. Again, not usually an issue, but it's something, you know, to look at. So overall, that kind of stuff is holding up really good. Physically as a monitor, it should last you a really long time. The panel's great and the physical build quality is great. But this glossy plastic that I've complained about so much, I still hate. It is terrible. So first off, it scratches easy, which sucks. So I actually do have some scratches down on the base here that I'll get some B-roll for you. So I have some scratches down on the base. I have a few scratches on the back. I have a little bit of scratches on the top, although not too bad, but even my webcam has actually scratched the top a little bit. And for whatever reason, there's some along the bottom bezel here, which I don't even touch. I mean, maybe when I'm using the joystick, maybe I bump it with my nail or something. I'm not even really sure how those got there. But, you know, it is annoying to have glossy plastic on literally anything. I mean, a monitor is one of the better things to put it on because you don't touch it very often, but I don't think it belongs on anything, even things that you don't touch like ever. It's just frustrating because it scratches so easy, it looks so ugly, it shows fingerprints so much worse than a matte design. Even if you have greasy fingers, you cannot usually tell very much on matte, unless it's brushed aluminum, but that's a different thing. Now, anyway, so that's one of my complaints there is the glossy plastic. I feel like that's just, I wish LG wouldn't have gone with that. And especially the stand down here, a lot of people keep a lot of stuff on their desk under their monitor area. You bump this with anything, your speaker stand, your glasses, whatever it may be, you're gonna scratch that stand. And it might not be noticeable at first, but they start to build up and you start to see them and you just go, ugh. So that's kind of what this is in right now, and I've actually been pretty careful about it. So if you get this monitor, I'd recommend you just try your absolute best to not touch it, or I don't know, maybe leave a microfiber cloth over the stand or something if you care about keeping it in that premium of condition. Now for me, I like my things to look nice, but I also like them to be built to look nice and handle what I throw at them. And I tend to be fairly abusive to my tech products. So, you know, I'm a pretty good person for this type of video. And I tend to just not really take care of them because I want that. I don't want to meticulously spend time to make them look perfect. Albeit I'll do that with cable management, but not with this. You know, I'm not going to keep a microfiber cloth on it. I'm not cleaning it every day. I clean it once a month with like a dust wand. I don't really care. So anyway, that's the point I'm getting at, is I'm a good person to test this, and of course yours would probably be in better condition if you treat your tech like your baby, which I don't do for most of my stuff other than like my main machine. So anyway, so the other thing that I really hate about the glossy plastic, other than it scratching and smudging easy, scratching being the worst, is how easily it shows dust. I will dust this off, and a few days later, it looks dusty again, like ugly dusty. And I live in a somewhat dusty environment. I mean, I'm here in Oregon, so we're not really that dusty of like a place, but I do live in the basement, and so there is quite a bit of dust kicked up, even though I do vacuum quite a bit. So it does get dusty really fast, and it sucks because that dust shows, and it shows on the stand and on the front and on the top worse. Of course, the back, it's not usually a huge deal. Most people aren't looking at the back, although my entrance to my room is right over there, so when people walk in, they can see the back of the monitor, and with the right lighting, it looks pretty ugly. I mean, right now, the monitor here on the back is not lit up, and I can see dust all over it. It's bad enough you can see it in the dark. You know, it's really annoying. So that's also something to keep in mind, is if you want it to look good constantly, you're going to want to dust it constantly. And I think I'm going to start dusting it more because, quite honestly, it's probably the ugliest thing in my setup. And you can't really capture that on camera if I'm just like filming a vlog video, or if you're just seeing it in the background here, you can't really tell. But in person, the dust is very present, and I'll try and capture that as best I can on the B-roll. Same with the scratches. I hope that I can get up close enough and focus on them so that you can actually see them in the camera. But definitely a little bit frustrating there. So overall though, I would say the monitor is holding up really good. Just take care of that glossy plastic and it should last you a really long time and continue to look nice. And if you don't take care of it, might look like crap, but it should still hold up for you. And there's a lot of people that are just in that realm where they don't really care for cleaning it. So anyway, fairly short video, but you know, I just wanted to go ahead and do this for you guys. Let me know if you want me to start doing this to more products. I want to start doing it to more products. I'm going to be trying to do durability reviews of pretty much everything. Usually around the 6-month mark is the goal, but it just depends on how much stuff I have going on at that point in time. But I do like the 6-month mark. I think, you know, half a year is enough to see how is it progressing when it comes to how well it's holding up. So I'm gonna start trying to do that to more products for you guys so you can get an idea of how things hold up, because that is a big thing that I've started to notice, especially amongst peripherals these days, is a lot of times you'll have a $30 peripheral versus a $90 peripheral, and they both are awesome when you first get them, but the $30 one falls apart and you're paying for that longevity. And I think that, you know, that's something I want to try and portray to people so that you understand what you're getting for your money and see what holds up and what brands hold up better than others. You know, some brands use better plastics or something like that. So anyway, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the video, and thank you for watching.